Hi everybody, Derek Pollacchi here for another Coach's Clipboard number 7, if you can believe it. And we're sitting down with Sul Ross volleyball and softball coach, Troy Canaba. Coach, thanks for sitting down.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Let's talk about it. You're in your 4th year of softball, which is going to come up this year. Volleyball, we're currently in your 2nd year. What went into getting the volleyball job?
Well, Coach Roberts left in December, and so, they were looking for a coach, and so pretty much I just asked if I can, have it for a year, and they maybe find somebody for that whole year. And anyway, long story short, they gave me the job, and so hopefully I can have it for a long period of time. It's one of those things that it's kind of stressful, but I missed it. I coached in Alpine High School for a long time, coached both sports, and so when I came to Sul Ross and just did softball, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I can just concentrate on one sport, but I missed it a lot more than I thought I would. So I'm really lucky and really blessed. I've been able to coach 2 sports here at Sul Ross, and I love it.
Now, we've seen coaches before coach 2 sports. Coach Cliff Carroll did it with women's and men's basketball for a year, but you're going to do this for an extended period of time, it looks like. What goes into coaching 2 sports?
It's there's a lot. There's a lot of juggling. Pretty much, putting time for one sport and then making sure that the other sport's not getting short of time. And so, there's a lot of time that we have to kind of say, okay, for this part of the day we're going to just do volleyball, and this part of the day I'm going to concentrate on softball. And so it's tough. We just hired Sydney McAllister as a softball, and she's also our cross country coach, but she's going to help with the softball part of it. So that helps a little bit of the stress, but just pretty much keeping things organized and in order, and making sure we're covering everything that we need to cover. That's the hardest part, is the time management part of it, because you don't want one team to suffer from another team or have concentrate more on one than the other. So it takes a lot of time and management just to make sure that we're taking care of both teams like we're supposed to.
Is there ever a time where it can be beneficial to have both? Sort of the sports collab a little bit, sort of maybe in like recruiting, where you can go out and get somebody and say, listen, I'm softball, I'm volleyball, I want you to play both?
Yeah, so right now, our 2019 class, we have 4 girls that are coming in next year that are both dual sports. They play volleyball and softball. I think that's one of the visions that I had, was to be able to do that. There's a lot of kids that do that, because since those seasons don't overlap, most of them want to play volleyball and some play softball, and they kind of skip that basketball part of it. So we have a lot of kids that are that way, and we're really lucky and really blessed. Annika is one of them that's going to be able to play both this year for me, and so she's kind of like our guinea pig. We'll be able to tell what can she and what cannot do, what's the problems that arises, and how can we take care of it, and how we can make it better. So we'll be prepared for when those girls come in 2019. So there's some benefits of it, and then also too, the kids that we recruit, they're good kids, and so be able to coach them in both sports is pretty awesome.
Now, unlike basketball, when Carroll was coaching, he's got 2 games the same day, right, with women's and men's basketball. It's got to be a little bit of a help to you that volleyball and softball aren't played together, at the same time of the season.
Right. Yeah. That's a good thing, is that we do have our 16 days of overlap where we have a fall ball and a spring ball. Those days, for those weeks, it gets really hectic. In my life, because we do volleyball part of the day. Then as soon as we get done with volleyball practice, we go off to a softball field and we do softball. And so, and then we'll do the same thing in the spring. And so during that time, it gets pretty hectic. But again, same thing. Just making sure that we're planning right, so that we spend a lot of time practice planning for both sports. But that way we have a blueprint that we're going to have for that day, and that helps eliminate a lot of the problems that we could arise and can come up. So we're really lucky that we do those kind of things before.
The ASC crossover, you got to host it at Sul Ross. That had to be pretty special.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I was a graduate assistant here, and we hosted it. I can't remember what year it was, but it was really neat because we had the entire conference here. Yeah. When I got the job, that was one of the first things I did was I called Amy and asked her, our commissioner, and asked her, is that just a possibility? And she gave it to us, and it was really awesome to be able to show, I think our volleyball program is on the rise. I think we have a great university. We have great, things that are here. And so for us to be able to show those off to everybody else in the conference, everybody had loved it. We had no complaints about what was happening, about the games. All the games were good. A lot of them went to 5 games and kind of put us behind schedule. But, so we had good volleyball here. And then also we had great crowds from, Sul Ross and then from Alpine. So it was really neat to see and watch. And so hopefully in the future we can do it again.
You talk about a team on the rise. You've already surpassed last year's win total and in conference. 3-24 and 1-15 last year overall in conference. This year 4-11 and 3-7 in the conference. Talk about the progress you've made in just one season.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just we got good kids here, and we've been able to recruit really well. But also too, these kids are working really hard, and that's a big part. And even that we're closing the gap. Even the games that we do lose, we're not getting blown out. They're close games, and I think a lot of that has to do with our youth. When a game gets close, for a young athlete like a freshman or sophomore, it's hard to finish those games. And we're playing against juniors and seniors, which they already know how to finish games. And so the experience part of it is part that we can't teach. I can't teach that in a practice. It just comes with games, and so I think we're getting better at it. But yeah, I think it's the kids deserve all the credit. Our players deserve all the credit. They work hard for me, and they want to change the program, and they want to do some good things. And so we're on the rise, but we still got a long way to go. But we're on the right track.
There is still some experience on this team that you inherited just your second year. There is some experience here that can help the younger.
Right. Yeah, I have we have 2 seniors and 2 juniors, and the rest are freshmen and sophomores. The juniors and the seniors came from Coach Robertson's class, and so and they stayed with me, and they've done really well. They've done I pretty much changed, not a whole lot that he did, but just philosophies are a little bit different. So they were able to adapt to mine and push hard and work hard for me. And so I'm really lucky that they stuck it out with us, and that we lean on them a lot, for a lot of different things. And so they've done really well. In that other case too, our freshmen are so young that they just don't know any better. So they just play hard, and whatever happens, and then we kind of have to teach them. In these situations, we want to do these things, but we have a great combination of all groups, and so we're on the right track.
You talk about the younger class, and one of them happens to be your daughter, Annika Cannibal,
Right.
who just graduated from Alpine High School, who played volleyball for years. And I was fortunate enough to call her games and know, what kind of player she is. And she's come in and made an instant impact.
Yeah, she has. I was really, we're really lucky. I'm really blessed that she stayed with us and gonna be able to play both sports for us. And
That's right.
so, I'm proud of her. She takes a lot of criticism, because she's my daughter. But I think she works hard. That's the stuff that people really don't see about her. Is that on the stuff on the backside of it? She's in the weight room all the time and all summer long. And so she's come in and really helped change the program. But that's the stuff that we need. We need athletes like that can kind of come in and help change the program. And I'm really lucky that she's my daughter, and I get to see her all the time. I was able to coach her freshman year in Alpine High School, and then I left and moved up here. And so to be able to have her back on the bench or on the court with me is pretty nice and pretty awesome. But I think also too, I think with her ability to play and stuff like that, I think everybody else is kind of feeding along. And then we have some, Jordan Schreier and Isabel Ruiz. All those girls were here with her last year, and I think they're kind of getting them and kind of pushing the whole team forward. And so she just was a great asset to us as well. Now,
again, you coached her in volleyball her freshman year. Mm-hmm. Okay. Talk about the difference between coaching in high school, especially your daughter, coaching in high school and coaching in college. How does it differ?
It's a lot different. At that time she was so young in Alpine High School that we kind of we moved her up to varsity, pretty early because we needed another setter. And there's some criticism there because it's she's my daughter, and there's some things that had happened there. But she's pretty mentally tough and was able to push through that. And I think that kind of helped her become the athlete she is. Like I said, her hard work just kind of helps her out as far as that goes. But the speed of the game was a little different. And also too, in high school she was a pretty dominant player, and she came here and she's done pretty well. But also too, they're scouting for her now, and they're watching her, and they know what she does now, and so now she's got to change her mentality when she goes in games now, and be more prepared to do different things that she normally does. She's getting blocked a lot more now. They're picking up a lot more of her digs because they're finding out the way of the player she is, and so she's got to evolve too. So she's going to have to do some studying and some learning as well. But again, she's a freshman too as well, and there's some learning. Growing pains that she's going to have to go through, and she's going through them right now, the second part of the season, because the first part we kind of surprised her, or she surprised everybody, and then now they're kind of, okay, there's no more surprise now. They're preparing. So, but yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is that we play against really good teams, and so we have to be more of a mental and more strategic with our plays than we did in high school. High school was she was pretty much talented and was able to be successful, but now we got to do something different.
Now, from your side, when we're talking about high school and college, there's got to be a big difference in coaching.
Oh yeah, the speed of the game and the tremendous athletes that we play against is just amazing, and great coaches. That's the other part of it too, is that the coaches that we're playing against, or the teams we're playing against, the coaches have been there for 10, 15, 20 years, and they already have their programs set, and we're so young that it will get there, but it's just going to take time. And so, but yeah, I guess the preparation of the games are a little bit different. In high school, you can kind of go out there, and if we had a talented group and we had good talent at Alpine High School, we beat a lot of teams, and we didn't have to have too much strategy. Right. Here, we have to watch film. We got to make sure that we're prepared, watch what they're doing, what we need to do as far as the offense and the defense too, as well against them. And so, it's been a learning curve for me too. My first year was kind of like just kind of changing the culture. Now we're getting to the nuts and bolts of volleyball, so now we can actually move and change things and help us be successful. But yeah, that, and then the speed of the game is really big. And the other thing too is we in high school we didn't see very many 6'2", 6'3", right. 6'4" girls. Every day we go to the gym, we see those people, so that changes your strategy a little bit too as well. So I have to be a lot more prepared than I had in high school, just because we have a lot more to prepare for. So I have to do a lot more work up here than I do before. But it's been a good challenge. It's been a nice challenge. But again, it's just one of those things that just got to get better.
We hear a lot of coaches, whatever sport it is, basketball, baseball, football, change the culture, they say. What does that mean?
Well, I think, we've had, I'm going to talk about my two sports, is that, back in the day, we had a kind of a cloud over top our heads. When you mentioned Sul Ross, they were like, oh, Sul Ross, or oh. And we don't want that. We want them to be, oh, you're from Sul Ross University. Okay, I see that you have a good program. You have a good softball program, good volleyball program. Our basketball program has been great. So we want to change that part of it. So the culture inside of it is just working hard, making sure that our kids, are great students, great student athletes. They represent Sul Ross as the best they can, because that's who they see when we go out on the road. They really don't see our normal average students. They see our athletes. And so if we're respectful and we do all the right things, I think the winning will come. But I think the culture part of it is that we have to believe that we can win here, and we have to believe that there's a chance that we can win here, and then that it's possible, but we just got to work for it. And in the past, I don't know so much that it's not that they didn't believe in it, but I think my mentality and the way I feel about my sports are a little bit different, because I just think that they can, it's really important for us to do the right things, and then that stuff will come down the road. But we have to have a good foundation before we go. So that's what I mean by changing the culture, is just the way that they perceive us and the way people look, because that's a part where we can get recruits. Now we're, in softball, we're winning. We went to the conference tournament for the first time in a long time. And so now when people come in and they want to come and play for us, they're like, oh, yeah, y'all went to the conference tournament. That's the change of the culture, where they can kind of see that we're on the right track. And so that's where we're at right now.
One player a team does not make. Talk about the other players for the volleyball team that have helped progress this thing.
Yeah, I have Kylie. Kylie's a setter that came from Farmersville. She's done an amazing job running the offense. I had Jordan and Bella. We call her Bella. They were here last year, and they've come in and kind of they've been the constant for us pretty much the last 2 years, and they've just kind of grown and matured a little bit more. We have a freshman libero that came in, that she's from Midland Lee, and Kerrigan Edwards, and she's done really well. She's been a great asset to the team. We have Autumn Kilpatrick, she's one of our juniors that's been there. That's been playing for us, and she's one of our middles that's been doing really well. But it's the whole group that kind of it's really weird because they really like each other. They like hanging out with each other. They want to play for each other. But right now it's just that trying to find that balance of when we need to have fun and then when we need to get to work, and so that just comes with a young team as well. And so we're trying to do that where they know we want to have fun, but then also it's time to work and we need to prepare for games. And so, but again, those are the girls that have been kind of carrying us all throughout. Hannah Zlai is another one that was a libero last year, and she's a DS this year. Coming in and passing the ball when we need to, but she's a junior as well. So we have those girls that kind of doing the leadership part of it and kind of bringing the other ones along. So, we're really lucky that we have some great kids, and then they work hard for me, and that's all I can ask for them. That's why I tell them all the time. I say, as long as you work hard for me, I'm okay. So, and so they've been doing that. So I'm really lucky for them.
We spoke to Coach Marquise Muse, a two-sport coach.
Yes.
Women's and men's soccer. And the men's program is brand new. Right. It's their first year. Mm-hmm. So he's building something there. But when you talk to him about it, and they have one win, but they're losing very close games. And when you talk to Coach Muse, he's not in the frame of mind of, well, we're building something here. Right. He thinks they can compete right now. Right. Is that the same kind of mentality we're looking at with a young volleyball team here?
Yes, that's exactly what we're looking for. We're close. Where we can make the conference tournament. We have some things go our way, and we continue to do things we need to do. And so, last year talking about a conference tournament, at the year 2 would probably be. I would have told you right. No way, but yeah, I agree with him. It's also two expectations. Our expectations of our athletes and our players and our teams are we got to make to the conference tournament, and so it's now. I mean, we need to do it now, and it doesn't matter if we're young or we don't have the senior leadership or whatever it is. It's now, and so we need to be able to push through and get those things done. And so yeah, we're on that mentality where we're there, and like he said, we're losing games, but we're close, and so. A kill here, or right. One less mistake here. We win games like that are the close games, and we're just not able to finish those yet. But the great thing about it is that we're there, we're close, right. And so we're knocking on the door now. Let's see if we can just get through it.
So you're heading to UT Dallas next for the second crossover. What do these crossovers mean for the season?
These last 3 games are really important for us. One will play UT Dallas, and UT Dallas is one of the top teams in our conference. And so to be able to play against those and see where we're at, those are the teams that we want to play. We want to play those great teams because then we can kind of see where we're at. Are we way off or are we pretty close? Right. Are we, what else do we need to do to be better? We play Louisiana College and Belhaven, and so, we can win a couple of those games and puts us at 6 wins in the conference, and so we're sitting pretty good, depending on what happens. So they're pretty important to us. That's the part that, and they're really fun to go to too, because we get to see the East teams and they get to watch us play, and we get to see what they have on their side and what we have on our side, and so, but they're pretty important to us. It's one of those things that could be, I don't want to say it's a our do or die kind of situation, but it's a pretty important couple 3 games that we need to get, and if we can surprise a couple of those teams, we'd be sitting pretty good in our conference.
Too early to talk about softball?
No, we can talk about softball.
It was a good season last year. 18-21, 15-15 in the conference. You made the tournament. I remember watching the game. It was a tough one against Louisiana College, a 3-2 loss. It was a good year last year.
It was a great year last year. We were really lucky. Again, had great kids, that wanted to be here, change the program, and they've actually done a really good job with that. And but yeah, the girls did a tremendous amount of work. They work hard, and then they, making the conference tournament was pretty awesome. And so to be able to be in that situation and be able to make the conference tournament was pretty neat for us. I tell everybody, I thought maybe year 6 was the, by the time I got my 4 years of people recruiting, and then we kind of built this thing, I figured about year 6 or so to make the conference tournament. So being in year 3 was pretty amazing. And like I said, again, the team deserves all the credit. The girls have done really good. And so, this year our expectations are the same thing. we have a really good class of 2018. We have some really good people coming in, and so those are, I think this is probably one of the better recruiting classes that I ever had. So we're excited to see what they can do on the field.
You never like to lose, but making the tournament a close loss, I mean, at the end of the day, that's got to be big moving to this year.
Yeah, when we went to make the conference tournament, one of the things that was tough was that it was different because because you're in the conference tournament, the time frame of warming up, and you get to warm up, then you have to sit down, and you have to warm up again and sit down. And so for us being there the first year, it was like we really didn't know what to expect.
Right.
And then having a young team like we did it was kind of hard for them to adjust. But even with all that being said, going down into the seventh inning, we just one play. It was just and it was a hard working play. It was a great hit. It was just didn't go our way, and but we were there, and that's why I told them we're there. So we're at that point where now we just need to go a little bit further, and so we were really excited about being there, and that was the other thing too, is trying to control our emotions, to understand that we're at the conference tournament, but it's just another game. And so it took us about 2 or 3 innings to kind of get back in the groove, and then probably about the third inning, fourth inning, we finally got where I could see my team just kind of relax and just play. And so that had the first couple of innings were it was really weird to watch them play because they were like real nervous. But when we settled down, we played really well, and so I was really proud of them. I'm very proud of them, and so we're hoping that we can just build on that.
You talked about 6 years. You did it in 3. Exceeding expectations with such a young team has to be huge to help them grow quicker.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing that they need to understand, that we just of course we're in the middle of fall, and so that was one of the things that we were preaching, is that our expectations are so high now.
Right.
Because we've done it, and we've seen that it can be done, and it can be done here at Sul Ross, and so we need to improve our game, improve our mentality, improve our batting, improving every aspect of the game, but also to where it just becomes normal for us. It's not that something we have to do. It's just something that automatically happens. With great teams, that's what happens. It's like we're talking about the culture. Their culture's already developed. Their culture's already there. And we're on the verge of having a culture here, but we still have some work to do. So, but yeah, our expectations are high, and they have to come in and be immediately ready to play. And the transition, again, like you said, about from high school to college, is different. We got pitching's tougher. The defense is tougher. In high school, you may have a good pitcher and a couple good hitters. Here, 1 through 9 are tough, and so they have to be able to prepare for those things. And so that's the part that we're trying to get them to understand right now in softball.
You talked about a good 2018 class. Let's talk about the upcoming season a little bit more specifically. What do you like? What's coming down?
We got a really couple good pitchers. We got Jody Vaughn from Seminole. She was all-state pitcher, all-star pitcher from Seminole, and she's here playing for us. Kendall Dove is from Millen Greenwood. She's a pitcher too as well. We got Paisley Sims from Greenwood. She was an all-state and an all-star too as well. We got Keishla Vargas from Alpine High School.
You couldn't get her to play volleyball?
I couldn't get her to play
volleyball.
I tried. I really did try, but she just didn't want to play volleyball. She wanted to concentrate on softball. So she was an all-star. Of course, Annika was an all-state and all-star as well. So we got some. That's what I was telling everybody. Now, we're getting the district MVPs. We're getting the offense, the defense MVPs. So we're getting those kids here, and so this class is really, really good. And so, we're really excited about that part of it. So. Again, the part that we have to get is just to make sure that they're prepared, and so that's part of my job, or that is my job, and so that's what we're working on right now, is just making sure that they get everything they need, so when we get the season, they're ready to rock and roll.
Is there a set goal for year 4?
Set goal year 4. We conference tournaments are set goal for year 4. We don't look at as far as the wins, like hitting the number of wins. We want to win each game and then just concentrate on each game, and then whatever happens at the end be okay. And I think if we do that, we'll be all right. I think that's the part, is just making sure that we're prepared for every game, making sure that the team is prepared. And if we can take care of one game at a time, then we'll be okay. We want to make sure that we take care of our series at home. We want to win our series at home because, at home you should win a lot of the games. And so those are kind of things that we're just kind of concentrating on, is just making sure that we're prepared for each game and take it one game at a time. The other thing is that we play so many that we don't want that emotional roller coaster where we're winning games and we're excited, and then all of a sudden we're losing games, we're down. We just need to be kind of even and just keep working and keep pushing hard.
Sul Ross head softball and volleyball coach Troy Canaba. Coach, thanks again.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you.